Hi, all, Ryan Ballengee here. We're going to do another equipment review for you, but this time it's a little bit of a training aid review. And this is a training aid review. Remember, somebody with a bias who doesn't really like training aids, but I found myself really liking this one. And this is called the Flex Putter. And as you can kind of tell, this is a little bit different than your regular putter. And as you might imply from the name, the Flex Putter has a shaft that flexes. And it flexes way more than your average putter shaft. It's not intended to be as stable as your regular old steel shaft, or if you put a graphite shaft in your putter, whatever. It's designed to flex. And the idea behind the Flex Putter is that it will teach you proper tempo because of the way it flexes during the stroke. So, just for a dramatic use here, I'm going to take the Flex Putter. You can see you can kind of pull it back. You can see that bend there. That doesn't happen in putters normally. And the idea is that as you work with the Flex Putter, it'll teach you the proper tempo for a stroke. And the way it'll do that is if you have too quick a tempo or too slow a tempo, whatever it is, the Flex Putter will not get back to the ball square, which means you're going to hit it offline. And if you're hitting it offline, if you hit it off to the right, you're hitting it a little bit weak. If you're hitting it left, you're often hitting it a little bit too strong, and it's closing up on you. So for someone like me, who takes a lot of pride in their putting. I mean, I think putting and short game are the two best facets of my game. And I know I hit the ball pretty far, but I take a lot more pride in putting, than I do driving. And I think I'm a pretty good mid-range putter. I'm a pretty solid lag putter. But a couple of years ago, I just decided to make a change in my putting stroke inside of 7 or 8 feet because I was missing a lot of putts because I just wasn't hitting them straight at the hole. I was pulling a lot of them, just didn't feel confident. So I changed my stroke to be a little bit more upright and just straight back and through instead of my slight arc that I do for most of my other putts. It's worked out pretty well. And so I wanted to use this from that perspective. Could I use it slightly back and through with a slight arc and see how it worked. So took it on the putting green at Argyle Country Club where I do the bulk of my testing, play the bulk of my golf. And I walked away impressed with this. I like the concept a lot. It takes some getting used to, of course. I mean, the idea of getting a putter that flexes way more than you normally get, it takes some time to get used to that. But you figure out pretty quickly, after about 4 or 5 putts, I felt I had kind of the hang of it. I'm starting to make a few with this putter. I'm starting to get the hang of what the tempo this requires to feel good and get it back to square. And I liked that because as someone who can often pull putts from short range, this forced me to be able to take it back reasonably far and still make a good stroke on it. So there wasn't any pop nature to it. It wasn't like I was rushing through it to get the ball to the hole. I just kept it on line, and I knew that if I kept it at a good tempo, it was going to keep the face where I wanted it on my intended path, and I was going to put the ball in the hole. I tried this on lag putts as well, and I liked it for a different reason, but there is also an acclimation period to this. It's a little bit different on the shorter putts because you have to figure out how far to take it back and how much it's going to flex once you take it farther back, which is a little bit more. But again, 4 or 5 putts into it, you can figure out, all right, here's what I got to do to hit a 20-footer. Here's what I got to do to hit a 15-footer. Here's what I got to do to hit a 30-footer. And this starts to kind of take on a different shape, I think, for that. Because the longer your backstroke is on a putt, the more likely you're not going to hit exactly on the middle of the putter blade. You can miss left and right, high and low, cause all kinds of problems. And so by having a better tempo on those longer strokes, you know you're going to get not only the ball hit on the face where it's square to the target, the intended target line, but you also know you're going to have more confidence that you're going to hit the center of the club head. And that's obviously huge on lag putting because if you're hitting on the right, you're hitting down on the toe or hitting down on the heel, you're not going to get anywhere near your target. And not only are you not going to get near your target in terms of distance, you're also not going to get there in terms of intended start line. So you can find yourself short and to the right, long and left, short and left. I mean, you can find yourself every which way, turning those potential easy 2 putts into 3 putts, 4 putts. And those are the kinds of things that can pile up and destroy your round. Not too long ago, I was out over at Argyle having a good ball striking round, really good ball striking round, and was constantly frustrated that I just could not line up tempo and speed. messed it up all day long. Cost myself birdies, cost myself an eagle with a 3-putt par. Oh, that was frustrating. I cost myself a couple of pars because I just didn't feel like I had the stroke working that day. That's actually when I started to use this, because I felt like I needed something to tell me, okay, they're matching. What you see in terms of break and the speed that you're hitting it match. And you know what? The next 2 rounds, I have really good opportunities to putt, and I've cashed in on a lot of them. I still have misses, and there's still frustrations, but not nearly as many. And I feel like that's in part due to having a better sense of tempo on some of these putts and better matching line with speed. So you can obviously tell it's a little bit designed to stand out, to make people take notice, and people will probably come up to you and ask what in the world this is. You can tell them, let them try for themselves. This is obviously a toe hang putter, so if you have an arcing stroke, small or big, this is better for you than someone who has a straight back and through stroke, but you can still do it. You could still have the straight back and through stroke. You just have to be really conscious of it when you're making that stroke. But it's still the same principle applies. It's going to be a little bit different. Most people who have the arc putter with their arc stroke, they're obviously going to have a little bit more of an angle here instead of a little bit more upright. So that's something to consider. So I think that might be something to be wary of if you have that straight back and through stroke. But for everybody else, this is going to be fine for you. Again, as somebody who does not much care for these kinds of training aids, I like things that feel like there's a practical application to it. It's not difficult to get, and the lesson's pretty easy to learn. With Flex Putter, that is the case. It's not difficult to use, and the lesson is easy to learn. And it's something you can come back to time and again, whether you're practicing, whether you're just working with this, whether you're working with alignment aids, whether you're working with alignment on your ball, whatever it is, you can combine this with other training aids on the green that you feel comfortable using and get a better result because of it. So check out Flex Putter. Just Google them when you have a chance. You can buy their stuff on their website directly, and they're very easy to deal with. I'm Ryan Ballengee. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.